Dawn, are you ready? Carrie, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I call the regular meeting for the Milliken Board of Trustees for March 24th, 2021 to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Will Town Clerk please call roll?
Trustee Rodriguez.
Here.
Trustee Wakeman.
Here.
Trustee Granquist.
Here.
Trustee Long.
Here.
Trustee Meisner.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich.
Here.
Mayor Austin.
Here. Thank you. Does anyone have any additions or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none, I'll take a motion.
I move we approve the agenda as printed.
Second.
Town Clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Long.
Yes.
Trustee Granquist.
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman.
Yes.
Trustee Meisner.
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich.
Yes.
Mayor Austin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Do we have any citizens' comments tonight? No? All right, so we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is a proclamation for Arbor Day. And the proclamation is as follows. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for planting of trees, and whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, I, Elizabeth Austin, Mayor of the Town of Milliken, do hereby proclaim April 16th, 2021 as Arbor Day in the Town of Milliken, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Do we need to vote on our proclamation? I didn't think so. Any comments on the proclamation? Hearing none, thank you. I'll sign it after the meeting. Okay. Is there any discussion or comments on the meeting minutes of March 10th, 2021? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve March 10th, 2021 minutes.
Second.
Okay. Town Clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Meisner.
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman.
Yes.
Trustee Long.
Yes.
Trustee Granquist.
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich.
Yes.
Mayor Austin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Are there any comments on the paid list of bills from March 2021? Any questions? Hearing none and no discussion, we'll move on to the Town Administrator's report. Town Administrator Cheryl Powell.
Thank you, Mayor and trustees. A lot has happened. We got notified yesterday that we received the grant for the senior van that Kathy Kinsfather put in with, I believe it was with CDOT. And anyway, so this van, we were awarded $58,064. The town's share of that, our town's share of the van is $14,516. It sounds like it's an awesome van. It's a 2021 Ford T30. It's an 8+2 driver. It's ADA compliant. It has dual overhead grab rails, dual angled grab rails for entry, floor to ceiling stainless vertical stanchions, and and bolted cross rails. It has a dual wheelchair lift doors, space for 2 wheelchairs, and all the necessary belts and straps. Lift door, hold open exterior T-latches, overhead storage on both sides, wheelchair ADA decal, backup camera, a PA system, and safety cameras. So
Great.
they're going to be styling. So it'll be much better for them than the current van we have.
Well, Kathy has now set the standard, so we'll be turning over, I guess, more grants for her to go apply for. Tell her
Yes.
she's just, we'll be
Absolutely.
looking to her.
She did a good job, very good job. Our snow team, after this last snow event, I think they did an incredible job with what they were dealt with. Received many compliments, very few complaints. We have been using is it a Ventrex? Ventrac. We got us a brush attachment for it. So the problems we were having with trying to get rid of the ice and keep the snow away from the sides of the road that freeze, that create the ice, we're using that on that. So there won't be damage to any of our infrastructure. And they think it works, and it does seem like it works very well. So now they're looking for like a V-plow for it. That'll help in certain areas as well. So I think Public Works Department, they were short 2 people. They were on vacation. Did a very, very good job.
Yes, I did.
But speaking of that, during all this, I did not realize that the Public Works facility does not have a generator. When the power went out in town, so did our fuel pumps out there. And the fuel pumps at FBC and the fuel pumps at the Cenex station were also out. So that's probably not a good situation to be in. So we've been meeting with Denise Bradshaw with the Weld Office of Emergency Management. And there are some grants we can apply for. I know that we've been looking at obtaining quotes on a generator. So I'm hoping we can incorporate them both and get a generator out there. Keith drove into the shop, closed the door, and was not able to get back out because the power went out.
Oh.
So it's probably something that we really need to get this year. Today, Don Stonebrink, Forrest Leaf, and Brad Simons and I met with, it was a busy water day, with Central Weld and also with the City of Greeley. I'd like to schedule a work session so we can discuss all these things that happened today, and I have to say it's all looking very good. Pretty exciting, actually. So a lot more information than I can tell you here during this, so I'd like to schedule a work session, bring Brad Simons in and Forrest Leaf, and perhaps start at 4 in order for them to be able, and us to be able to provide you with all the information we gained today. So I'd like to schedule a time that's convenient for everybody. And that's it. But pretty exciting. I want to talk water.
Yeah,
It's water season.
it is.
No, and actually
I'll suggest that
good.
we put it on the next work session.
I do. It's such a high priority for us, so I think our next work session is open.
Okay, I will check with Forrest and Brad and make sure they can attend that day.
Okay, so we would start early at 4. Okay? All right. Perfect. All right. Any other questions of the town administrator?
No, but may I make 2 comments?
Yes, right behind me.
Oh, go ahead.
I wanted to comment a little bit about our snow removal. Most people were happy. Some, of course, complained that when snowplow came by, it deposits that ridge at their bottom of their driveway. That has always happened. It's something that I know in our subdivision we work around. But most people really aren't aware that our guys were working around the clock. We were running 12-hour shifts, night and day, to tackle the snow once it started coming in. And we don't staff or buy equipment to handle this level of snow because it doesn't happen that often. This was an unusual circumstance, and it really would be a misuse of taxes to have that much staff and equipment. So our staff worked really well with what they had, and I know that they were extremely tired, and they were still moving snow out of the neighborhoods at the beginning of the week. So they never quit. It was just a matter of still, and you can see the piles of snow all over. So I will say that I am very grateful for the efforts that they put in, and under the circumstances, did a great job. So I believe Trustee Rodriguez has some comments.
I have 2, if I may. I just want to commend the team for the snow removal as well. I also noticed that they removed a lot of the larger piles because I was one of those people stuck in the driveway. Thankfully, I had a neighbor with a tractor that was able to dig me out so I can get out. But it was nice to see the team out there picking up all the large mounds of snow and clearing the streets. Great job. I also want to just mention too, the dog park. I went there with Whisper on March 11th after all the new updates were done, and I was pretty impressed of how well everything looks with the suggestions that were provided to them. And I just want to let them know that they did a really good job, and I'm grateful for them taking the time to do that.
Thank you.
Anything else? Any other comments?
Yeah, I'd just like to say good job to the snow removal staff also.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, what is the Milliken obligations for plowing?
We have a tiered system,
Okay.
and Scott can certainly explain it better, but it comes main roads first, then the main, like Alice and those,
Right.
and
Arterial.
then residential, and it's one pass down the middle
Right.
because everybody parks on the street. And we have discussed before about, do we need an ordinance that when it snows, nobody parks on the street and we do more, but then that's more manpower.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn it over to Scott, and Scott Clem, our Parks, or our Streets and Facilities Director, for more comment.
Actually, if we can kind of table this, I'm going to bring this back to you this summer. I'm going to reevaluate everything. We are probably going to change some procedures, some ways. Mayor hit this one on the head. This is one of them storms you don't like to see. I mean, like I said, I give my guys kudos. We started Saturday night, and they finished up yesterday. It was their last day. We went back to 8 hours on Thursday just because at that point the guys couldn't run it anymore. We gave them the weekend off, and we came back and we finished up. I had to get some parts today. I hit a few towns just to see how theirs was compared to ours, and I feel we did really good for the small town we are. The good thing about a storm this time of year, you save a lot of material costs. It all becomes manpower costs. So, because with the temperatures, it just melts. So I give my guys kudos. They worked hard. I mean, I was out there in the fields with them too. I mean, I spent 2 days alone out on county roads just trying to keep them open. I mean, we struggled. We only lost 2 roads in the whole process all the time. So that's pretty good for a small town to do that. So. But like I said, I mean, basically, yeah, our snow policy right now is based on snowfall amounts and, volume of traffic on roads. In a snowfall like this, generally, you're not going to see the side roads plowed until probably a day after the storm's finished. I mean, that's as soon as we can get a truck into them a lot of times.
Right.
And my guys, what we did a lot of times, when I went and opened up some of the county roads out there by Meadow Farms, the loader went behind me. We plowed them in, we opened them up. So, I mean, that was just a courtesy we provided. It's not something we have to do, but we felt we needed to do.
Right.
We helped out where we could around town. I mean, if we were going by somebody, we seen somebody struggling, we'd help them out. That was our goal. I mean, we know these storms are different than a normal storm. And like I said, now that I've been here a year, I got a lot better feel of roads. I mean, we've added areas since our last policy that's changed. There can be some evaluation, and we'll bring it back to you probably in a work session. We'll kind of discuss and get your guys' inputs from what you've heard versus what I see. We'll just put together a plan that next year. I do agree. I think we need to have some kind of alternate parking system or something. One thing I'm looking at currently is the new skid loader we're releasing. We can actually buy a snow blower mounted on that we can load trucks with. So a lot of these gutter cleanings the day after, we do the alternate parking. One day we go down one side of the road, come down the other side another day, and you're all manpower. It's not really cost-wise. So there's options to look at. So
I think my question would be the cul-de-sacs are the biggest problem because as the plow goes around, it seems we deposit a little extra around there. People in cul-de-sacs are then plowed in, although this was an unusual snow, but even on typical snows, we dump a little extra there. Is there something we can do about that?
if we go with the snow blower out, that's something that will be cured because we can push it to an end. We can come through and blow it in the truck and you're not losing material. I mean, it's the fastest, most productive option right now.
When you're talking about a blower, would that be like that grain harvester picture I sent you where they harvest the grain? and it goes-
Not that big, but yeah. Actually,
It works similarly.
yeah, it's pretty much the same principle. It's just got a long chute. It's just like your regular snow blower. It mounts on the skid loader. The skid loader we bought, we can actually run a high flow that will actually blow it into a truck with the right chute.
Okay.
So I'm working on some pricing on that to see what we will probably do is we'll wait to purchase it come fall, not now.
Right.
But that's one option we're really looking at because that'll solve a lot of our freezing of our drain pans. I mean, my option to look at is every other parking. You know, if it's an odd day, you park on the odd side. Even day, you park on the even side. The guys can clean gutters, you know, do the work they got to do on half a road at a time. You don't have the plowed in, piled in people. So, like I said, been here long enough now.
I think it's worth highlighting, though, that not only did they go above and beyond on hours, but the obligations of which roads to clean and how much to clean, that was gone above and beyond. And I think it's important for our citizens to understand that we don't have a huge snow force to keep costs and taxes lower. So, you know, when you do have a little pile, just understand that that does save you some money in the long run. So.
Well, not only that, the day after, everyone was saying, well, you know, are the stores open? And it's like, no, a lot of them aren't. So,
Right.
you know, I stayed home. Most people did.
Yep. I know our street, you know, Monday was cleanout day, and all the neighbors pitched in. We're going around from house to house, getting cars. We had 3 or 4 of them that were stuck, and tow strapping them out and snow blowing each other's driveways. And we had some fallen limbs we were cutting up, and just made a good block party.
Yeah.
And just as another point to that, with this storm, knock on wood, we had very little incidents, problems, breakdowns. We lost one cutting edge on one of our trucks. Bolts came loose. That was probably the worst because that took that truck out of commission. But that was probably the worst incident we had. That's something that couldn't be helped. It happened. But I mean, in a storm like this is usually when you break down most of your equipment. So kudos to the guys to take care of their machinery, check it out before we're leaving, checking it during shifts. So the guys really did good keeping up because they knew that all we had to work is what we had to work with. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Great.
Yeah.
Now we just have to make
Thank
sure
you.
they can fill them with gas,
Yeah.
or they won't be running, so.
Well, it's the time to find out about it. So, okay.
Well, the good thing with our pumps, we can actually tap it off the battery of a truck, our generators, just
That's
to
not
the
real
pump.
safe,
So,
though.
well, actually, it's no different than what it is. It's just off a generator. It's no different than run the electricity. It works in a pinch. If that's what we had to do to fill 2 trucks, then the power is back on. But, and then, like I said, we had started the generator process last fall, and then we were finding out it was 4 to 5 months before you even get a generator at that point. So it wouldn't have helped us in this realism of this storm anyways. So. But we did have quotes started, but I'm getting them refreshed from the companies already. We have 1 or 2 more quotes we're going to pull in just to see where everybody comes in. So that'll probably be coming to you in the next meeting or so, because we did actually budget this year for it based on the needs last year. So
You know, are you looking at like a fixed Generac, or are you looking at a mobile
yes,
generator?
we're going to do a standby generator that's just fixed. So runs off of propane, so you don't have to worry about anything. So
And only for your facilities?
yep. Every other town hall's already got a generator. Wastewater and water's got generators where they need
This
them.
building has one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ours
Okay.
was one that they never fixed or couldn't get it fixed when it went down or something, I guess, as we found out, so.
Very expensive to fix.
Yes, you're almost cheaper to buy a new one and start over than to try and fix them anymore, so.
But we have regular maintenance done on them. We have somebody come out.
Yep.
So, was it quarterly?
They're checked monthly,
Monthly.
they're cycled monthly, and then they do, depending on the hours, they run, I think at least once a year they're serviced, if not more. So,
Auto cycled or manual?
both usually.
Okay.
We auto cycle, I think it's every quarter, I think, but they manually try and cycle them once a month, just to make sure, so.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. All right. If there's no further comments, next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, which includes the consideration of approval resolution 2107 related to financial matters and signature for bank business. I'll take a motion.
Make a motion to approve consent agenda?
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Wakeman.
Yeah.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trustee Miesner.
Yes.
Trustee Long.
Yes.
Trustee Granquist.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich.
Yes.
Mayor Austin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. First item on the action agenda is the public hearing for consideration of adoption of ordinance number 791, Land Use Code Update. This will be Pepper McClanahan, our Community Development Director. And since this is a public hearing, the time is 6:51, and I'll open the public hearing.
Mayor and trustees, I'd like to open up by thanking a large number of people for contributing to this effort. First of all, our Department of Local Affairs for providing matching funding for this, our advisory group who spent hours working on this, obviously the Board of Trustees working on this in joint work sessions and also reading pages and pages of code, our Planning Commission, our staff, particularly Carrie, and not last but not least, our consultant Community Matters, Inc., for all of their help and suggestions and time that they spent on this. So before you tonight is consideration of Ordinance 791, which is an ordinance repealing and replacing Chapter 16 of the Municipal Code. I did hand out a revised staff report. We are also amending tonight Chapter 18. We initially combined them, then we pulled them out. So the revised staff report has the correct suggested motion for you. So the background is that Milliken was awarded a grant from DOLA in February of 2019. And the purpose of the update of the Chapter 16 was to align it with the 2015 Comprehensive Plan, provide town and citizens and developers and investors with a clear set of regulations and development standards, to reduce and remove redundancies, to provide an improved organizational structure, and remove inconsistencies. Multiple public meetings were held throughout the process. 2 joint work sessions that were public were conducted with the Planning Commission and the Board of Trustees, and drafts were made available to the public through the town's website, as well as hard copies at the town hall. Amendments in Chapter 16 regarding accessory structures also requires a corresponding amendment, as I mentioned, to Chapter 18, and that'll be conducted in a different public hearing. So findings of fact out of the municipal code is that Section 16.3.540 authorizes initiation of amendments to text or the official zoning map by the Board of Trustees. Number 2, notice of the public hearing was placed in the Johnstown Breeze on March 4th and March 11th, 15 days before the date of the scheduled Board of Trustee meeting, in compliance with 16.3.540A 5B of the Milliken Municipal Code, and in accordance with Sections 31, 23, 304, and 305 of the Colorado Revised Statutes. The third finding of fact is that the following criteria for amendments to the municipal code have been met in accordance with 16.3.540J. The amendments to the land use code are necessary to provide for changes in administrative practices as may be necessary to accommodate the changing needs of the community and the town staff. B, to accommodate innovations in land use and development practices that were not contemplated at the adoption of the current regulations found in Chapter 16, Article 3 of the Municipal Code. And to further implement the goals and objectives of the town's comprehensive plan and to ensure the criteria for text amendments to the zoning code are met. The attachments to the staff report include a draft. The footer says that it's the December 1st draft. It's actually the March 1st draft. It also includes a comment form with a list of additional changes that were suggested since that March 1st publication, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Most of the changes were textual, a straight and, or a word that was missing, something like that. So with that, I will submit the staff report and the exhibits for the record, and I will invite Barb Cole to address you from our consultants.
Hello everyone, I'm not going to put up video because I'm getting an unstable internet connection. So first of all, I want to say I'm really proud of you guys to finally get this done. We started on a beef and bean day in August and went through all of the COVID protocols. But I think it was really wonderful that both the Planning Commission and the advisory group, which included the Planning Commission, were actively involved in helping us reorganize the code. It was very difficult to find things. They also helped us. There were about 75 pages of design guidelines that, in the opinion of both the consultant and staff and the advisory group, just seemed to be overburdensome. And again, they were guidelines. They were not, you must do this, you shall do this. There was a lot of encourage, think about, whatever, and that makes it difficult not only for the development community, but also for staff. So I think you're in a great place. As I've said to staff many times, one of the things about doing the amount of reorganization that we did and just updates to really fit Milliken is we're not going to get it 100%. And so I always tell people that what's really important is you now have a good solid foundation to move forward with, but once you start exercising the code, you may find areas that need slight amendments. That being said, I congratulate you all for all your hard work, and I really appreciate getting to know everybody in the town of Milliken.
Okay, we'll start out. Do we have any public comment on the land use code? Okay. All right, so I'll close the public comment section at 6:58 and move on to board discussion. Comments by the board. Trustee Meisner?
Yeah, I have several points. In section 16-3-390, having to do with fences and walls, wooden fences are stained with natural wood stains or left in a natural state. White picket fence, vinyl are recommended. Wood is not allowed, even painted white. A white picket fence is in America, and to not allow that in town is ridiculous. The wood is environmentally friendly, whereas the vinyl is not.
Would you please give me that section again?
Section 390, section 16-3-390, B, 2B.
I believe that was a suggestion that was made either at a work session or by the Planning Commission, because it is an addition since the December 1st draft. So I would entertain the commission's, or the trustees and the board's pleasure on that.
I have no problem with a white picket fence. What does the rest of the board feel?
I don't have a problem with it either.
Can you refer, so you said B?
Yes, it's B,
I'm looking.
B and 2B, compatibility.
So an amendment would be to, shall be left in their natural state or stained or stained with natural wood stains or painted.
I would specify pickets. I wouldn't, personally, a 6-foot board fence painted purple is not exactly conducive to a happy community, but a white picket fence is America.
Or painted white. You want to specify white.
Only picket.
Yeah. You don't want someone painting their backyard fence, would?
No.
Just the white picket fence in the front, yeah.
Okay.
Then in section 6E, the height limitations.
That's on your revisions, based on your call with me.
Okay.
So,
And particularly having to do with the industrial zone. Now, I believe that according to this, it says that a chain link is permitted in an industrial zone, provided it's no more than 6 feet high. We're talking an industrial zone. We're talking heavy equipment. We're talking millions of dollars. And these are supposed to be protected by a 6-foot chain link fence.
so trustees, on your list of incorporated revisions, this suggestion from trustee Meisner is at the bottom of the first page, and the suggestion was to increase this to 10 feet. We will also need to add language to clarify that any fence over 7 feet will require a full building permit per the building code. Is that not correct, Jonathan? Yes. So both of those proposed changes would be made.
Even a chain link?
Well, just for chain link, so it would only apply to 6E for
Okay.
industrial zones.
Yeah, I found it really bizarre that we would allow a fence around a recreation court, a tennis court, to be in a residential district. And this could be 10 feet, 12 feet, however tall that a tennis court would be. But in an industrial area where we need to have protection of the equipment stuff, we can have 6 feet.
So we've incorporated that suggested change in the revisions. If you adopt the motion that's in the staff report, that change would be incorporated in the final.
Okay, I went
ordinance.
through this entire thing. I did not see the revisions.
So when you're talking about
It's a separate
revisions,
document.
that separate document, that's 2 pages, essentially,
It looks like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was in the packet.
or 4 pages, I'm sorry.
Let me see if I can locate exactly where that is, Linda.
It's on the first page and
Are
part
you
of the
using
second
town cloud?
page.
Are you using the town cloud?
Yeah, I am.
And you see the land code use revisions, the 5th link?
That's what she's wondering.
Where is that? Because I never even saw that.
No, I thought these were already incorporated. Apologies.
See if I can find that.
This is what's in there. So
We'll pause for just a moment.
there's the fence recommendation from you. That's in there.
Okay,
Okay, it's at the very back of it.
because I went all through that and I never saw any of that stuff.
Yeah, this is all the list of incorporated changes as of March 1st.
I wish I'd seen that.
Okay.
Okay.
But those changes are not in any kind of final revision. So can you
They're-
explain?
Yes, they're not included in the code that was attached to the staff report. They will be incorporated as part of your motion, and they will be changed before we send it for codification.
Okay.
Okay.
So that answers the one about the chain link fence. I'm still trying to wrap around the white picket fence issue, because I did not gather that from what I was reading.
Well, also just a reminder that I know that fence materials have been a discussion item in Milliken over the last year. And so there is a provision in the code that allows approval of different types of fence materials. I would caution you about getting involved in color. I fully appreciate that white picket fences are American, but I think, again, if you want to just, I would leave it as really Matt, maybe you want to chime in as just, painted fence material. There is a provision in the code that states that the fence material needs to be architecturally compatible, with other things in the neighborhood. And purple would not be compatible.
So with that in mind, if we simply allow painted fences, we could certainly insert language to simply allow painted fences, taking into account the fact that we have a restriction that requires architectural compatibility.
We have a purple house in town. We also have a lime green one.
I'm trying to find where you were, Trustee Meisner, you were talking about the wood painted fence was prohibited in the language, is what you were saying? Am I understanding that right?
Yeah, and I can
Were
see-
you referencing 2B?
It's on page 91.
Page 91, okay.
And it's section 16.390 B2 B.
So remember, just to let you know, on what was put in the packets, it's actually on page 86.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
Okay.
It depends on how it prints.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
so I'm seeing on page 86
Thank you.
is where I'm referencing. But I'm not seeing in this one where it's prohibiting a painted wood fence. And maybe I'm missing something.
So the language,
So my suggestion is the line says exterior fences made of wood shall be finished with a clear seal or left in their natural state or stained with natural wood stains. I think the suggestion by Trustee Meisner is that, and my recommendation should be left in their natural state, comma, painted or stained with natural wood stains.
Yeah,
But
that's fine.
again, A in that section says walls and fences shall be architecturally compatible with the style, materials, and colors of the principal building on the same lot.
I would agree to that change, to add painted in there, as long as we do that. Does that seem to satisfy the issue on your end?
It does.
Okay.
And again, the other thing that we added to this section, knowing that there have been discussions about fence material, is that some of this, if it's a question, can go in front of the planning commission.
Peggy has a question.
Okay, next comment. I believe
Peggy
Trustee
has her
Wakeman.
hand. Okay.
So let's be sure that the purple house can have a purple fence.
I also note our existing code, and I believe this code has a restriction in the downtown district with painted fences. So, in the MUCD district in the downtown. So, this doesn't, it's silent on paint. And again, If they want paint, we can take it through to the planning commission, and then they can review the color, et cetera, location.
Well, there again, are we making it too difficult for somebody to paint their fence? I mean, shouldn't we just say white paint?
I think that the likelihood, one of the things you have to do when you write code is you really need to look at the probability of something happening or not happening. Again, you're sort of weighing, let's make it easy for people, so I think painting the fence is fine. I guess the question to the group is, would you want to limit in the town of Milliken the painting of fences to white only? That's the policy question for the board.
I don't want to see a green, purple, or neon blue fence. So I would say white would be a color that I would agree upon.
Add white painted.
So I might offer a countering opinion, because I think giving some liberty for white, gray, earth tone, some variants of color, it can't be, I'm not sure how you define lime green or royal purple or whatever it is, but still to provide the freedom to paint it. I mean, if you want a tan fence, you can paint a tan fence or gray.
But those are usually stains. You can get a gray stain, you can get a tan stain.
But if someone feels like getting, exterior latex tan paint instead of a stain, I don't know that I want to restrict them from doing that. I'm just offering my opinion on it. Keep the freedom
so it's
there.
often used, and maybe the easy recommendation would be white or other earth tone colors.
Okay, that's perfect.
I would also suggest that we add solid, because we do have people that call us that want to do artwork on fences.
Right.
So I think we should add the word solid.
No artwork or patterns.
Painted, a solid,
You can't paint every other slat.
Yeah.
white,
Zebra fences.
or earth tone
Yeah,
colors.
good word. All right,
Remember, white or earth tone colors.
Got it.
solid painted. Okay. All right, so we've got our fence height and industrial fixed. We've got our front faces, fences with white or earth tone solid painted. We're still on trustee Meisner. Did you have another section?
No, that
you
was
want to
it.
discuss? That was yours? Okay. All right, moving on. Trustee Rodriguez, do you have any comments on the land use code? Any concerns?
No.
Okay. Trustee Wakeman, do you have any comments or concerns on the land use code?
No, matter.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich.
No.
Trustee Long.
No.
Trustee Granquist.
No more for me.
No more. Okay. Looks like we got all the comments out of the way at one time. Is there any further comment or discussion? If not, I will take a motion.
I just want to be sure that the record reflects the closed hearing. I heard you say closed
Yes.
public comment.
Oh, yes, I usually say public comment, and I usually mean public hearing.
Thank you.
So the public hearing was closed at 6:58. Thank you.
I move to adopt ordinance number 791, an ordinance repealing and replacing Chapter 16 of the Milliken Municipal Code with revisions.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Granquist.
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trustee Meisner.
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman.
Yes.
Trustee Long.
I'm going to abstain from this.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich.
Yes.
Mayor Austin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is consideration for approval of ordinance number 792, amendment to Chapter 18 of the Milliken Municipal Code. This will be Matthew Gould, our town attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Pepper did make reference to this. There were some changes that were identified as being needed in Chapter 18 of the Municipal Code. These basically were formally documented kind of late in the game, as in last minute, so I decided to just put them in a separate ordinance. This relates to the maximum size of certain accessory structures, and we're trying to make the building code consistent with the new land use code, and we're increasing that to 200 square feet. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Questions from the board? Trustee Granquist.
Yeah, has this been presented to the planning commission already, what you're referencing or discussed?
I don't believe the ordinance has, but the substance was discussed at the meetings regarding the land use code. Would that be accurate, Pepper?
Yes, I believe that we mentioned that. We amended out. Our current standard is that anything under 120 square feet only requires a plot plan and not a building permit. And we amended the code in 2018 when you adopted that down from 200 to 120. Now we're gonna move it back up because I think it's pretty much a standard that anything 200 square feet or under doesn't require a building permit. So your garden shed, that type of thing, doesn't require a building permit. We just check and make sure it meets our minimum setbacks.
Okay.
Give the citizens a little more flexibility there.
So this change would
another couple of years to build my shed.
This change would not trigger, on its own, it would not trigger a requirement for presenting it to the Planning Commission. We certainly could do that.
No, just a matter of question.
But it was discussed with the planning commission, and I think early on it was discussed with the advisory group just because we knew that the IRC was making that move from 120 to 200, and we debated back and forth what we should do about that. So I think this is the right way to go because it removes any conflict. If I, as a homeowner, wanted to add an accessory structure that was 200 square feet, I'll tell you, people will be happy that they could do 200 square feet rather than 120.
Agreed.
No more questions.
Okay. Trustee Long, any questions?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich?
I have no questions.
Trustee Wakeman?
I have no questions.
Okay. Trustee Rodriguez?
No questions.
Trustee Meisner?
No questions.
Thank you. Hearing no further questions or discussion, I'll take a motion.
I move to adopt ordinance number 792, an ordinance of the town of Milliken, Colorado, amending provisions in Chapter 18 of the Milliken Municipal Code regarding certain accessory structures size limits.
I'll second.
Thank you. Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Trustee Granquist?
Yes.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Meisner?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item on the action agenda is consideration for approval of a memorandum of understanding with the Colorado Department of Public Safety. Pepper McClanahan, Community Development Director.
With the mayor and trustees, with the assistance of our building official, ProCode, we submitted a request to allow Milliken to have a school certified or state certified building official to review plans and also to do inspections. This is for everything except electrical and plumbing. Those things still have to be inspected by a state inspector. We were able to get that through, which is good news for Civica, hopefully, with their timing. Craig Horton's in the audience. What this means is that they can submit the plans to us for Jonathan and his group's review. There were 3 of them that were approved through the state. The last step is this MOU to execute with the state, and then we will be able to process all of our schools, rather than having to submit building plans to the state for review, which we're thinking would probably take a little more time maybe.
So this does streamline our process a bit more.
Correct.
Good. All right, comment from the board. Trustee Meisner.
Sounds like a good deal to me.
Trustee Rodriguez.
No comment.
Trustee Granquist.
None for me.
Trustee Long.
Nothing for me.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich.
Nothing.
Trustee Wakeman.
I'm just curious about the fees. Then, does school pay the state fees to do inspections? And would we be charging fees? I would think we would.
I'm going to have our building official, Jonathan Giesick, come up and address that. He's actually certified in other communities and has done this for them as well, so.
Good evening. Yeah, as far as the fees are concerned, when the building permit goes through the state, there is a state-adopted fee schedule that they will apply for, and when they submit their billing to the state, so there are fees there. When they come over to Milliken, they do pay fees to the town of Milliken that cover the expenses for the building inspections and plan reviews. So as far as the amount of the fees, we haven't got into that discussion yet.
Is that a recent change? Because I thought that the state always did the inspections on school properties.
The state gives the opportunity for the town to become a pre-qualified building department. And what that does is it gives the school district the chance to either choose to go through the town or to choose to go through the state. And so what we found with working with other school districts is that our services through ProCode, since we're in the town every day, since we have a roots in the community and we are better staffed than most state. The plan review time for turnaround is very significantly reduced, so we can get it out within 20 days versus the state might be a couple of months. We set up meetings to walk through. We walked through the Civica remodel the other day. So these are big advantages that when working with a contractor and with a school district, we work with them hand in hand. We're in the community, like I said, and so we have a very good understanding of what they're going to do. So there's a lot of advantages to that. But yeah, they have been doing this for quite a while. You just have to apply for it, and then as long as you're certified and you meet all the state's requirements, that you can do it. The only exception is for plumbing and electrical. That still, for right now, has to go through the state. So.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, I'll take a motion.
Move to approve the Memorandum of Understanding with the Colorado Department of Public Safety.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Long?
Yes.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Meisner?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Trustee Granquist?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Austin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And the rest of the reports on the agenda tonight are written. Any questions or concerns on them? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Done. Thank you.